My name's Victor. This is my first video ever posted on YouTube, but I wanted to take the time to go over one of my favorite tools slash pieces of software that is out there, and that is a little app for both macOS and iOS called Tweetbot. And I really love this app because it allows me to basically engage in Twitter in an entirely clean and well designed and also time specific way. And that's something that a lot of current twitter.com users engage with or have problems with, is that a lot of the tweets aren't in order chronologically. And with Tweetbot, you're able to have that available to you for what I think is the best Twitter experience. So I'm just actually going to go through and talk a little bit about the differences between the two versions of Tweetbot. The latest version 3 for macOS was released today, and the previous version 2 I was using for the past year and a half or so. And I actually use Tweetbot 3 for iOS as well, and that's another app which I might make a video in the future on, depending on when the newest version of the iOS app comes out. But we'll save that for later. So one thing that I noticed right away is the width of the window. So as you can see here on the left-hand side, this is the latest version of Tweetbot, and it lets you expand quite a bit more than the old version here on the right. So I was kind of intrigued by that design choice, because now as I'm making this comparison video, the widths of the screen slightly off, so it's not ideal for this kind of side-by-side comparison, but nonetheless I can't control that. So one of the cool things they added was this sidebar here, which provides a little bit more context as to what these icons mean for terms of Twitter use, like timeline, notifications, direct messages or DMs, search, my account. Whereas the old version didn't really have much context besides being displayed here in the center of the screen of the current tab or icon that you clicked on. So as you can see here, mentions, messages, activity, and so on. So it's really interesting that they went this route. I personally really like it, and it could be a combination of newness and something that I haven't really experienced before. So maybe that's maybe a little bit biased for why I like it. But overall, the design is, I think, much more communicative of what each of these little icons mean. Whereas before, as you can see here on the right-hand side, their icons were pretty thin, and that was the style for a few years back, and now they've sort of made them a little chunkier slash easier to click on, and I think a little bit more legible as well. So really cool to see that little update there. I actually haven't played around much with the latest version, so we can kind of experience this together, if you will. So if you click here, you can see the current account that you are looking at for the Twitter timeline, and that's my personal one. And if you click this little add account button here, it'll open up a web browser that will allow you to add another account if you have others, which many people do. And so actually, just a brief comparison here. When you click on the profile here, you get a little drop down addition icon. So if you want to add an account, it should have the same functionality. Let's click out of that. And once you go to the items further down on this sidebar here, we have the timeline. And once you click on that, it exposes your list. Now, this is not very clear of what happens when you click on the timeline. There's no column or label that says this is the list that you have, and it displays them in order. So that was kind of strange when I first encountered that. Another funny quirk, as I'm seeing here, is that on the right hand side I'm showing 213 tweets, whereas on the left hand side with the new version I'm showing 212. And whereas before their design decision was to kind of have the tweet unread tweet amount displayed here on the right in this rectangular figure that sort of hangs off the top edge here, which is neat. And then now on the new version, they have this little more opaque circle that displays the total amount of unread tweets, which is probably not the best in terms of usability speaking, with having the different colors displayed here. We'll go ahead and see what happens once we switch over the theme, which is also brand new for the third version of Tweetbot. So let's go ahead and just go here on the left, continue our journey on this sidebar here. And the notifications, as you can see, they're very clean. This is the light theme, I believe you call it. And as you can see also, as you pull down on the notifications, there's this nice little fast loader showing up whenever you're dragging downwards, and I'm guessing that will load whenever there are any new notifications. And I'm just gonna, for comparison, see what they had in the old version, Tweetbot 2 for macOS, and they have a little circle that says streaming, very similar to how macOS does it right now whenever loading a page like in Safari and such. So when we click on direct messages, we have all these people here and same type of loading style, and overall they just display the messages very similarly, very clean. Each has its own cell, very similar to notifications. I like how there's this little icon here on each side, and then the user's tiny circular photo for their profile pic. And heading back to the direct messages, the profile picture is much more emphasized here, and I think that's pretty smart in terms of displaying for information for a design decision. And actually just hopping back and forth between the two, you can see in the notifications how much more the actual icon emphasizes what happened in your notification, whereas here everything was displayed on the right in terms of likes, in terms of mentions. And actually this is actually different. I am just noticing right now this is the mentions tab, which they appear to have combined within the notifications. As you can see here, when you click that, you are now able to sort by mentions as well as activity. Interesting. So they ended up including everything in this new notifications tab rather than in the mentions. And here you could see the hearts was for the likes, for whatever you liked. Also in the activity, this is more so related to this notifications tab and having all the likes that were from your tweets and also the people who followed you. So continuing on, direct messages, already covered that. Looks very similar to the previous design, not much updated there. And heading on to search, again, another view that hasn't changed much. It's just more so had a facelift to be related to the newly redesigned version of this app. So for the My Account page, we can click on our profile here, and again, much different layout compared to what we're seeing in the old version of Tweetbot. And I was a little confused here. I think a lot of Twitter clients like Tweetbot, like Twitterrific, they show your profile page with a lot of the attachments at the bottom with this similar style here on the right. And in the new version, they removed that and they just have your latest tweets, and that's basically it. It's a much more minimal version. Even the description is hidden now, and I'm guessing when you click here, it'll show. So this is more so the view that I was expecting. And as we can see here, On the right, this is very similar. I like how they highlight the followers and following count. Now it's much more clear, whereas here the numbers could get lost pretty easily. And these little icons are also nice to display location as well as URLs. And overall, I really like all of the different icon additions that they've added. As you can see on the right hand side, in the old version, there wasn't as many icons that were trying to communicate what each of these things did. And I'm just going to continue clicking around here under the My Account page. And again, it sort of just breaks everything out into what type of thing you want to see. So you can look at your tweets, you can look at things you've liked. Obviously here, as you can see the tweets going on about this app that we're talking about right now. And also your mute list, your lists, and everything that I think is pretty valuable whenever you're looking at your account. And sorry for those people who are on the mute list, that's just temporary. And I wanted to kind of dive into some of the interactions now. So when you click over here on the timeline in the old version, if you double click, it should take you to the very top, which it did here. And shout out to Chris Mendoza, who's posting up here. And congratulations on recently starting at Dropbox. So I'm going to do the same here on the left, double click timeline, and does exactly what I was expecting it to. And as you can see here, everything is displayed chronologically. 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 9 minutes, 11 minutes. I love that. That's my favorite part about Tweetbot, is that it doesn't mess with the timeline of tweets. So I'm going to click down here on timeline, and it allows me to check in on the list that I have, and then also click back. So that's really great that these little icons are added to this timeline view. You can see here, you can like, retweet to followers, or quote tweet. If we quote tweet, it should give us a little dialog box. Here we go, here on the right. And now it allows you to see a few different options of what you can do. You can look at your drafts, check topics, and add a picture, location, emoji, which is great. The previous version did not have that. I could show you all here right now. If we go to Chris's tweet, let's go ahead, quick quote tweet. And as you can see, the different UI here on the right for the old version is much more plain, and also a different height, as you can see. So I really like the addition of these other icons here for more options. And also the emoji was a big win for me, because I think that doing the shortcut Control Command Space to activate the emoji keyboard can kind of be annoying. I really like that they built it into the new version of the app. So great job there to the folks at Tweetbot. And one other thing too, the tweet button here, let's start typing. Great stuff. Can't wait to go. And now the tweet button becomes much more clear here, as you can actually send that off. So do the same thing here. Great stuff. Can't wait to go. And again, the tweet highlights in the old version, the tweet button, and it's just very small and not that, I guess, not that big in terms of being very clear. Push me and this will tweet your tweet. So I'm going to just delete that for now. Same with this one. And let's go ahead and take a look at the settings now for Tweetbot 3. One thing I do know of is that there is a dark theme, finally, which I am super happy about. And as you can see here, it turns all of the tweets dark with a background of, I want to say, dark gray, not quite black. And it's honestly one of my favorite things for any app, because I myself struggle with lights and really bright lights. So anytime that I have to stare at the computer all day and have a dark UI, that makes it much easier on my eyes, and I really appreciate that they added that. And let's go ahead and see what the icons light up like to look here when we click like. So nice little red interaction there, and I like how when you click the heart it fills, but then when you hover over it, it actually empties again and outlines the icon with a nice little color. And let's look here at the retweet. I'm just going ahead and retweet it. A nice little orange color. I'm going to click reply and going to go ahead and just exit out for now. I'm not sure which dress that Chris is talking about, but as you can see, there was a nice little blue color once you click on that reply icon. As for the profile icon, it also has that same blue, same with the settings cog here on the tweet. Once you click that, it allows you to see, again, more information, what Twitter client this person was tweeting from. In Chris's case, he was tweeting from Twitter for iPhone, and I'm definitely going to tell him about Tweetbot and to see if he can go ahead and download it, because it's a much better product. So going back to the settings here, I'm going to click preferences, see what else is different. Now I'm going to open up the older version as well for comparison, just to see what else has been added. Again, in terms of UI, they've added these two new icons for general and accounts, and these are the older ones, look very similar to the macOS style, whereas these are a little more personable and unique and more on brand for the Tapbots brand in general. And as we can see here, not too much has changed in terms of options for the app itself. One thing that I like here is that you can change the font size, whereas previously you had the options tiny, small, medium, large, huge. Now you have all these different options to select for the actual font size. And again, the dark mode, which wasn't there previously. I love all the sounds that happen whenever you get a tweet or somebody tweets at you or sends you a direct message. I'm just going to open up the account here and see the differences. And again, very much the same, not much different. So we can see on notifications, we have here, and pretty much the same stuff is activated. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out. And I believe that just about wraps up my really brief overview of the new version of Tweetbot. I'm really passionate about this product, so if you have $9.99 to spare, please go ahead and click the link in the description below to purchase this. And again, $10 is not much money. I saw a lot of people complaining about the cost, and the backstory of the creators of Tweetbot are three guys who spend their time working on these products for their company Tapbot, and Tweetbot is one of the few products that they have. They also have a few others like Pastebot, Calcbot, and they're all really well designed and really well thought out products, and this is what they do for a living. So supporting them by purchasing this app for $10 would be really helpful for them, and also it would just be something that I think you won't regret in the long run. And for the amount of times that you end up using this app, I myself have more than used it past the $10 value that it is at the moment. It's just worth so much more than $10. So again, this is a major improvement in my opinion in terms of design, adding the dark mode and keeping most of the functionality the same. I did see a few other designers on Twitter earlier today mentioning that some of the functionality from the previous version wasn't included in this one. I'll include a few links to those tweets if you would like to check them out. And again, the guys at Tapbots, they're very responsive and they will respond back if you have any feedback for them, which is great because they were already reaching out to everyone who was not as satisfied with the things that weren't brought over from the previous version, and mentioned to them that they would be adding that back shortly. So overall, I encourage you to A, hop on Twitter if you aren't already, and B, download Tweetbot for Mac, and specifically the version 3, which is now available today. And if you would like to talk some more, feel free to add me at Victor Kearns on Twitter and send me a direct message or a public tweet. Look forward to hearing from you.